Good day everyone. I'm Madal Sirudan. Now I'm going to report the history of critical literacy theory. So before we proceed, we will going to know first what is critical literacy. When we say critical literacy, it is the ability to read the text in an active, reflective manner in order to better understand power inequality and injustice in human relationship. So, pag sinabing critical literacy, ito ay isang pamamaraan kung saan makikita at magkakaroon ng ugnayan sa mundo. It is having as regular one's life, skills and desires to evaluate the society and the world. It is how we see and interact the world around us. Critical literacy is important in our daily life, especially today. To remind us to understand text deeper, it is also important to uphold critical literacy to encourage the youth to become more actively engaged and use their power to promote positive environment. Critical literacy not only emphasizes the ability to read and write, but the ability to use reading and writing as a basis of higher order thinking skills that allow a person or student to analyze and critically evaluate what is read and written. Critical literacy uses text and print skills in the ways that enable students to examine the politics of daily life within contemporary society with a view to understand what it means to locate and actively seek out contradictions with modes of life, theories, and substantive intellectual position according to Bishop 2014. So now I will going to discuss the history of critical literacy theory. So much of the earliest scholarship on critical literacy is grounded in Freirian pedagogy. In 1987, Freire and Macedo published their expansive volume on literacy, and according to Freire and Macedo, they say that who are critically literate can understand not only how meaning is socially constructed within texts, but also the political and economic context in which those texts were created and embedded. So, meaning, kapag critically literate ka, is hindi lamang isang aspeto ang kaya mong mauunawaan at gawin, kundi pati na rin sa ibang aspeto, tulad ng political and economic context na kung saan nakakatulong sa iyong pang-araw-araw na buhay. Freire and Macedo were perhaps the first to initiate a dialogue around the idea of critical literacy in their collection. It was not until 1993 that Lancashire and Maclaren issued what was to become the seminal text devoted to the topic. In it, they state that literacy is more complex than traditionally defined skills of reading and writing. Rather, they argue that such a traditional definition of literacy is ideologically aligned with particular postures of normative socio-political consciousness that are inherently exploitative. Sa loob nito, sinabi nila na ang literacy ay mas komplikado kaysa sa tradisyonal na tinutukoy ng mga kasanayan sa pagbasa at pagsulat. Sa halip, pinagtatalunan nila na ang ganitong tradisyonal na kahulugan ng literacy ay ideological na nakahanay sa mga partikular na postura ng normatibong socio-political consciousness na likas na mapagsamantala. Sa kabaliktaran, ang critical na literacy ay nagbigay diin sa panlipunang konstruksyon ng pagbasa, pagsulat at paggawa ng teksto sa loob ng pampulitikang konteksto ng hindi patas na estrukturang pang-ekonomiya, kultura, pampulitika at institusyonal. Lancashire and Maclaren argue for critical, reflective teaching and research, focus on both forms that literary skills take as a social practices and uses to which those skills are employed. So, yung critically reflective teaching is nakakatulong sa mga educators para ma-discover yung ways kung paano magturo ng effective at naayon sa mga learners. It allows teachers to adjust and respond issues. Natukoy na mga may akda ang tatlong anyo ng kasanayang pang-edukasyon na maaaring gawin sa kritikal na literacy, na nag-iiba ay sa kanilang pangako sa pagtatanong at pagkilos, liberal na edukasyon, pluralismo at transformative praxis. Liberal education here means an approach to disciplinary knowledge where intellectual freedom exists and where disparate interpretations are considered. But inevitably, contradictions is avoided and rational argumentation wins out. So here's the example of liberal education. A well-grounded education program where you are educated in multiple fields of study and not trained in the specific profession. Second is pluralism. In pluralism, there is an emphasis on reading to evaluate principles that support a loose conception of tolerance. Tolerance here is aligned with the notion of diversity that is grounded on benevolence toward those who are not mainstream, and in the process maintains the mainstream. Against these approaches, the authors forwarded transformative praxis as that which takes the radical potential of critical literacy into direct, emancipatory action in the world. Pluralism allows all groups to retain elements of their cultural backgrounds and belief systems within a more dominant culture. This philosophy promotes an attitude of acceptance and respect for one another's beliefs and opinions. These approaches, the authors forwarded transformative praxis as that which takes the radical potential of critical literacy into direct, emancipatory action in the world. Transformative praxis is a product of multi-dimensional critical consciousness which is informed by the notion of education as a practice of freedom and praxis, which Prairie explained as reflection and action upon the world in order to transform it. Praxis pedagogy is defined as student-centered, critical thinking, which includes an ethical perspective and with a future aim to improving students' outcomes. Praxis test measures the knowledge and skills you need to prepare for the classroom. Whether you're entering a teacher's preparation program or seeking your certification, these tests will help you on your journey to become a qualified educator.